everyone. Welcome to SuperDistrict. So SuperDistrict is a series of online meetups that we started during the lockdown to see new faces and get to know each other during the phase where we couldn't go out. We were in good company of some of the best Italian creative studios. For the design week, we wanted to open it up to the international studios as well. So who we are? We are District. We are a creative platform that gives opportunities, events, open calls, jobs, and workshops to designers and companies. We are based in Italy, and I'm Hassan, and this is Maria Francesca.
Hi, everybody.
There's also in the Marta. And
hi everyone. Nice to meet you.
For the new entries, it's a time for exchange, so don't be shy and let's enjoy. We have a few rules during this 40 minutes. If you have a questions, book it through the chat so we can give you the microphone so you can ask it directly. And before any questions, of course, do introduce yourself so we know what's your background. And here we go. So today we have with us Jonas. Danielle is not here, right, Jonas?
Yeah.
Okay, from AIM Studios, which is a motion design and interactive media studio with offices in Lisbon and Porto. So, Jonas, I'll give you the microphone and go ahead and cheers.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. It's a great pleasure to talk about AIM and what we do and share it with you. Yeah, I'm executive producer. So unfortunately, I would like to have creatives here talking with you. I will tell you about AIM and also show you a project that I think would be interesting to discuss and to showcase. I took the opportunity to share in the chat our website, so we would be pleased if you visit our website. Actually, I think I will share screen I will share my screen.
Yeah, yes, go.
Okay, so yeah, we are AIM, so we are an animation-driven production company, and we have been focused on both entertainment and communication contents. We are focused mainly on animation. As you can see, we are very keen of bringing on board various styles, a number of different visual approaches to animation. Well, we have been creating stuff, I mean, producing and directing for cinema, TV, and web for the last 6 or 7 years. And well, we have been working with mainly international clients. Well, another thing about AIM that I would like to stress is that we really love to partner with fellow studios, production companies, also agencies, but we really enjoy when we team up with other people, and much of these projects are a result of that. Yeah, I think I would go directly to a project that I would like to share with you. Actually, it's not properly published yet, but I think it's interesting to understand the challenge and then how it was done. Of course, afterwards, if you have any questions, I would happily answer to them. And so maybe I share a little clip about of this film, and then we talk a little bit about it. Okay?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know if you will hear the sound, but let's check.
Hey, it's COVID here. Welcome to our 5 hours workshop where change happens. By learning with others, we can improve our results. What we do with our fruit, Marco does with timber. building an ecosystem for sustainable businesses around living trees. Natural resources, education, and land are useful, but Marco hopes to use forests as a new sustainable resource, a gift that will keep on giving, not only for timber, but much more. So, how do the 3 R's work? Roles are our key players. They are businesses, their customers, and the community. But without sustainable forestry, low wages make times tough. Relationships are how roles interact with each other. And while new sustainable business ideas can start fast, lasting partnerships are built over time. Rules are not only the taxes businesses must pay, but tough laws and regulations. And strict green timber laws make it hard for many to find work. With options running out, some feel pressure to find other ways of earning money. But by mobilizing the community, together they could harness the forest's global value, attracting investors and over time, even influencing new laws, turning their forests into their biggest asset. So how do we respond to our toughest problems? With curiosity and an open mind. I need to find the source of my beetle problem, so I need to dive deeper into their world. Asking the right questions leads us to the right answers. Only then will we be able to know what to add or change, bringing positive results. Marco created a statement of change that he used as his guiding light. Now that you have seen how our workshop works, it is time to create your own statement and let it be the ground you walk on. But as you learn, don't forget to stay humble. Listen, challenge, and tweak your statement. It's an exciting path we are on together, making change in our world, and maybe transforming yourself along the way, one small step at a time.
Okay.
Very
well,
nice.
Maybe I should introduce the project first. I read. So this is a project for an NGO based on Washington, and they are an educator in system change, which was a particular challenge for us. So this is part of a microsite where they provide this course to social entrepreneurs, and this is this was not just a product to sell, right? Because they have this kind of it's system change, is a kind of ideology, a different way of thinking, and they basically it's a way of giving the communities they work with, giving not the fish, but teach them how to fish, and according to them, maybe changing the whole fishing industry, right? And so this was a very challenging assignment. We were responsible for creating all the visual content of this program and the website. Then you see there's this changemaking.net website, and so this was very interesting. First of all, for the challenge, and then how we do tackle the storytelling of this, because there was a lot of things they want to say and to teach, as you may notice after each of these. And then this is a series of 3 videos, and I showed you the last one because I did a little breakdown of this film from rough animation to the end, and but this is the last of 3 videos where in the end you can download some materials and then connect with other social entrepreneurs and so on.
Ecco, diciamo così. Okay, sorry.
Okay, yeah. And so, well, yeah, I would like to have the creatives talking about this. I can tell you a little bit about the production pipeline and how we did this. Of course, in pre-production was of course the main part of it, defining the storytelling, defining the style, and we worked with illustration studio, Adamastor, guys from Portugal. And this is something that if you go through our projects, we do a lot. We love to team up with studios and agencies. We actually did this with an agency in Austria, and on the creative side, we partnered with an illustration studio, and then we have been creating the storyboards and discussing a lot with the client about the story, and from there so in technical terms, this is a film made in frame-by-frame animation, but then the compositing is done in After Effects, and I will show you in a moment how this was done. Also, the music is done by AIM, because we have a sound department that our films, of course, we may work with other people doing sound and music, but we are particularly proud of our soundtracks for these 3 videos. And so the pipeline was built, sound was starting being built from the very style frame, and we did a very traditional pipeline with the style frames, the storyboard, the animatic, and then we went through animation. I have here a video. You are seeing my screen, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I will show you a little bit of our making process. So from the in-betweening onwards, because I think one of the interesting things of this film is the way we tackled textures using some TV Paint native brushes and these kind of things that I'm not the specialist to talk about, but I know that this was it was a decision we took, and the results are influenced by that. And you may also notice that the little beetle that appears there is in full 3D. So we mixed a lot of techniques. And also, I will then share with you a project that we have done, because we have tried to animate some characters in After Effects as well. We then decided to go full in frame-by-frame animation for all the characters, I think, and only secondary animation was done in After Effects. But I will then share with you a project with full character animation in After Effects, which also would be interesting to see. And so, yeah, I will play this video from the in-betweening, then clean up. Then we did color, and after that, textures and shadows. And so the secondary animation was done in After Effects for the most part, and we assembled everything. The compositing was done also in After Effects, so we can play a lot with different layers and perspectives and parallaxes and
building an ecosystem for sustainable businesses around living trees. Natural resources, education, and land are useful, but Marco
so this is the end result. Yeah, I will share now here on the let me share on the chat the other project that we are really proud of. I lost Zoom. Where is it?
There was like a question from Riccardo about the relationship between the motion designers and the illustrators in your studio. Riccardo?
Yeah, true. Yeah, I thought that I saw your showreel and I saw some cell animation examples, and I said, is this a real cell animation or it's fake? Now I know it's real. But my question is, what's the role of a motion designer in a in a cell animation project. I mean, it's just the illustrator that can draw all the frames, basically. What does it mean? It means that your motion designers are also illustrators, or not? How does it work?
Well, in our studio, we do have people that do both things, illustrate and animate. But we tend to not working only with our own illustrators, you know, because we try, even it's more challenging, and we can answer to challenge in a more appropriate way. Like, we have a network of people that we are used to work with. Of course, sometimes we spot new people that we really love would love to work with, but we try to keep this network working together with us and providing always new approaches and new styles. So our focus is animation, and so the motion designer, let's say, I don't know technically how you can separate stuff, because it has to do with character animation. We are always, we started by having knowledge of character animation in a time like 6 or 7 years ago, where I feel that simple flat motion design was very popular, and so character design was not as popular as it is now. That's my feeling. I don't know. And so we throughout our projects, you see 1 or 2 projects with only design, only with motion design and not with a proper animation. But the most of our work is centered on character animation. So we team up with illustrators that need to, of course, adapt to what is the mindset of animation and the needs of an animation pipeline. But in this case, we work with fantastic guys. They are called Adamastor. You can check on the credits. They really excel in what they do. And we basically we team with them very closely in pre-production. And basically, our focus in all productions is pre-production, because after you from the style to the pipeline design, which is still pre-production, you have your film thought, and then it's just a matter of producing it. And so in pre-production, we did a lot of style frames, and then we did 2 or 3 versions of storyboards to make sure that our clients, which was the NGO, were happy about the story. And then the team was sorry guys, the team was mainly composed by animators that would do the keyframes, and then less experienced animators, or everyone worked in everything, but we had a huge amount of work in between, in cleanup and also coloring and texturing. And this was a very important bulk of the work. Then motion designers and people that work a lot with After Effects and compositing had a huge role on this. As you saw on our breakdown, then everything is assembled in After Effects, and we can play a lot, camera transitions, secondary animation, enriching a lot of even then some effects and some very small details that are added on After Effects afterwards. So I would say that this goes from illustrators to motion designers, character animators. Yeah, it's comprehensive.
And there is also Paola asking if you work with freelancers also for the scripting, or you do it internally.
Well, we do work with freelancers for script, but I say freelancers because we don't have the volume of work to hire someone to be full-time.
Let's say collaborator, external collaborators.
Yeah, but we do that. But in this particular case, because you cannot imagine. I can share some initial PowerPoints. It was packed with content, packed with ideas, things that, well, this could be a 30-minute animation. You know, it was a lot of content, and we did a effort to bring that down to some, and this is 3 videos with 2 minutes and 30 seconds, I would say. So it's a lot of work. It was a really long journey. But in regarding to script, we really like to work with professional people, especially when you need to convey some message in 30 seconds or 1 minute, and be creative about it. In this case, we did this we team up with agency with Fargo Circle from Salzburg, because we were like working directly with them and in trying to interpret the client's version. Actually, they started by providing us scripts, you know, that were completely unworkable, and then
Okay, thank you. You can go on with the second project if you want.
Okay, I can show you more projects. So maybe I go for this one. Well, if we go to, you are not seeing my screen anymore, right? No. Okay, sorry. Here we go. So yeah, I was. So we have been lucky to do commercial work. We have been working for TED Ed. I don't know if you know the channel. We have been doing a couple of projects because they don't pay enough for you to do 5 minutes of high-end animation, but the contents are very cool, and it's a challenge to do something workable for them. We have commercial stuff like this. This was made for AT&T, a mini series about well, moments of unrest where AT&T technology makes a difference. But this is to say that we have been also lucky to work with NGOs where creativity is more, I think, we are more free to explore, and also the messages are usually more meaningful, right? Yeah. And so these 2 projects, for instance, are for a NGO in the Netherlands. I will show you one of these. And also we produce for cinema, and we have been doing some short films supported by the Ministry of Culture of Portugal. And of course we do some motion design as well in 3D or 2D. Okay, I would go for this, for instance.
I love it.
And this is very interesting because these guys are activists in sharing information about sexuality in places where you know, it's a taboo, and they are very, they enter there and they spread the message in a really interesting way. Then in our page you can see the process, which is also interesting, and there are some similarities between the project that I presented to you and this one. I would say the main difference would be precisely the texturing of the other one. Also the frame rate in the project I showed you before, we played a lot with frame rates, but I like in this one the camera transitions and so on. And also we did this project in partnership with other animation studio, which is also great. We really enjoy, because I think we are not in a properly competitive industry, and so when we gather with other people, things have a different flavor. So I will share this one.
Do you remember your first crush? The first time you fell in love? The first time you had a orgasm? What about the first time you thought the condom broke? Who did you tell? Your friends? Parents? What about a nurse or a doctor if you had the services available? But what if talking about love, sex and relationships in your society was taboo? Who would you have turned to?
Love Matters provides information on sexual health and gender rights for young people, information they can access directly from their mobile phones. We nurture vibrant communities that learn from and support each other. Our partnerships ensure that bridges are built between young people and the services they need. Most importantly, we empower young people to take control of their sexual health and claim their right to sexual pleasure. But we can't do it alone. You can help us support young people in times of crisis and share their happiness in times of joy. Because love matters.
Yeah, that's it.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, and also, if we have time, I don't know, I'm happy to answer questions. I just shared a link for a project we have done that is, there's a lot of After Effects animation and character animation, which is also great to understand that we can also animate good, do good character animation in After Effects. But I don't find Zoom. Where can I maybe stop sharing? Where is the chat? Here it is. Okay, I will share again, and we'll show you one more project, and also for an NGO, which is, we are very lucky to do this. NGOs are not the richest clients you can get, as you may imagine, but they render this kind of interesting projects. So I'll take the chance to show you this other project, again with other illustration, other illustrator teaming up with this to have another different approach to the projects. Very briefly, this is Abraço, which is a very important national NGO tackling AIDS, HIV disease, and this is something they developed that is to test for HIV at home. So this is Test at Home is the name. It's in Portuguese. It's with subtitles, so well. And
don't worry.
It's just 30 seconds. Okay.
Esta é a Graça e o seu filho Duarte. Estão a requisitar online no teste de rastreio do VIH. Recebem pelo correio o kit para a colheita de sangue. Parece complicado, mas não podia ser mais simples. Depois, basta enviar de volta e esperar. O novo teste em casa pode ser encomendado online de forma confidencial, anónima e gratuita. Há coisas que ficam só para nós. Mais informações em testeemcasa.com.
So yeah, and this was mainly this is a mix between cell animation and After Effects, as you could see.
Okay, cool. There is like one question from Sylvia. Sylvia?
Yep. Hi.
Go.
Hi. Very nice work. I mean, I'm not an animator, but I like it very much. And because I'm not in the field, I was wondering how long does it take from the beginning to the end to finish a video? Like, for instance, the third one is a bit shorter, but the first two are a bit longer. So what's the timing?
Well, I would say that that the timing can be controlled essentially in production part, but there's a part of production that is very hardly shortened. Okay, so everything can be very fast if you have a huge team, but I believe that for pre-production is very, even if you have 20 guys working on pre-production, you cannot speed that because it's the creative part of things. So in all these projects, I would say that, so the first project I showed you, of course, the third video was much faster to produce. They were 6 minutes animation. We were, I don't know, like 4 months or 5 months doing this. But this has not to do with the speed you can reach. So in pre-production, where you are exploring ideas and discussing them, either if you are doing a short film with an animation director for an overall film, or even if you are working on a commercial film and you need to discuss it with your client, pre-production is key to have an open door for feedback, right? And it can take longer, so longer than expected if you have a lot of interactions. We used to try to keep the door as much as possible open in this pre-production, to the extent that we will close the door very hardly on production phase. And so, for instance, this 30-minute animation, I would say it would take from assignment to deliver 1 month. But it's not the technical, the technical effort is to get the idea. And this one, we worked with a script writer for this. So we produced the style frames, and then the client took a lot of time because they were very busy, to give feedback. And so, and this is a pain of our industry, right? Because in one day they ask for something in 24 hours, and in the other day you have a project going on and they take like 1 week to give you feedback. And so it's very difficult to understand the timing. We always try to adjust our proposals to the limitations the client has. And even for the money, for me, it's like alchemy to do prices for animation. It's very, I've been working on this for some years now, and I still don't have a formula to provide prices to clients, because we are not doing something standard, right? And so I prefer to have the budget and then do my best proposal for that budget. But in any way, that's not possible for most of the clients, which is really stupid, I think. If I was a client, I would say, I have this money to spend, so give me your best proposals for this money. And then I would compare studios based on, there will be a level playing field for this. I can say 10,000 euros and I'm thinking about something, and the other guy says 5,000 and he's thinking about different stuff. So there's this mystery in this industry that I cannot solve. Maybe I can take some advice from you guys. But I'm talking about budgets because it has also to do with timings. Yeah. The thing that I would say is that when we are briefed to do something very fast, we can say, for instance, the first project, there was huge amount of work of cleanup, in-betweening, coloring, texturing, and we scaled production on that phase. We did it. We called a lot of people to work to help us, and I think we worked with the people on that phase like with 10 or 12 or something.
Wow.
But that was too fast at production, But pre-production, discussing with the client the idea, doing the storyboards, reviewing that, it's not flexible. You need to be, of course, you need to be fast in doing stuff, but and in the end, you don't know how long it would take in normal terms, because there's no normality in any project, I would say.
Sorry, can I have another question? And then I'll leave space to others. Would you say that regarding the budget and the idea of the client, that also influences the choice of style and technique that you're going to use, like cell animation or After Effects, or maybe it's less of a thing?
No, definitely. And sometimes I would say we are suicidal. Because, and this is the case of the first project I told you, we did a proposal with a client. Actually, before I don't know if you know Mariana Tomaselli, is a really interesting Italian illustrator that we love, and I've been years to have the right opportunity to work with her. But I just want to say this: we actually tried to work with her on this project, but then the client said, okay, we cannot raise this this amount of money. Let's do something below. And we, well, reshuffled stuff. We selected another team. We thought about other pipeline, but in the end, we just we were suicidal in the sense that we put a lot of effort because we really enjoyed the aesthetics, and then we could do something more simple, as I said to you, using After Effects character animation, which is cheaper because you don't have all those phases of key animation in between, in cleanup, all this stuff. So it's obviously cheaper. But then we decided to go full in frame by frame and in cell animation, and we invested on the project. So I can now be here presenting it to you, basically. But and so yes, sometimes I remember a couple of cases where you are briefed by something, you provide 3 solutions. We would go in this style, it costs this money, in this style that, and so on and so forth. I would say that what make a project more expensive is the style and the technique, of course, and also the timing you have to produce it, because if you need to shorten that up, you need to increase the price. Not only because of you need to hire more people, but you need to be certain that things don't are delayed and emergencies and technical problems appear, and then you need to panic hiring, go to panic hiring, and you spend a lot of money on that, right? And so, yeah, I don't know if I answered your question. Sorry, I
No, you did. Thank you. Thank you.
Nice. Lucia?
We have another question
there?
from Lucia. Lucia Gentile.
Sì, Lucia, ci senti? Can you hear us? Okay.
Yeah, but I don't have a question, so I don't know.
Ah, no, it was Lucia Bertezzo, sorry.
Bertezzo, okay.
Yeah, so maybe she's not there. Okay, anyway, don't worry. There is a question from Paola. Go, Paola.
Hi, my question is how do you communicate with the clients during your making of? I know that is a very important phase, the communication to the client. It is often difficult, so letting know what is your idea exactly. So what supports do you use? I don't know, drafts, storyboards.
Mm-hmm. Well, we try as much as possible to frame the discussion with clients, and we have an ongoing example of that. So sometimes you get a client that has a very abstract idea. Other times you have a very specific briefing, and you work between those extremes. And so I think if you have a very specific briefing, it's simple. You just it's easier to predict what you are going to do. If you have vague and vague briefings and margin to input your creativity on the project, what we try to do is to I would say first define the approach with the mood board. Then you anchor the expectations with style frames, and by the style frames you already start to understand what are the do's and don'ts of a particular client, I would say. And then after having style frames, and also you can do an animation test, but we don't like to do animation tests for free. So we have a lot of animation done, and everyone does animation, so we can have other examples to showcase what is our idea. And so I would say, and also in pre-production, it's very important to open the door. So clients feel comfortable with this. If we discuss with them all the details in pre-production, and we make sure that we are on the same page regarding what we are going to do. And so we do style frames. we do storyboard, and then we do animatic. Even for the sound, we prefer to work with our own sound and music team, which means that, for instance, for the first film I show you from Shoka NGO, we were producing music moods from the very style frame phase. And so I think you should interact with your client with trying to narrow down things, you know, because this is very subjective. What we do is completely open to interpretation, and is very subjective. So during the pre-production process, you try to narrow down expectations to something that is the more specific possible. And so you make sure you are on the same page with the client on what you're going to do. And having that, then, you know, they are hiring you because you know how to animate. So they shouldn't be telling you, I don't want this movement like that. I want like, we don't do that. We try to close the door on production.
Okay, perfect. Is there anything you want to add? Okay, there's like a question from Move. There's a Move. Go.
Yes, I'm Matteo.
Matteo, sorry.
Designer. Sorry, this is my nickname. Well, the question is, what do you think is better if we talk about timing, like frame by frame animation or After Effects process? I know that there are two different things, but I want to know, what do you think about this? Is better frame by frame animation about timing, or After Effects process character animation?
Yeah. Well, as I said in the beginning, I'm not an artist. Actually, I a course in.
Sorry,
but I have a view on that. Well, I would say that I think the content and online content has been evolving, and I think you can see that on textures. Even if you are doing vectorial stuff, you can see that on the texture of the illustrations. And also, you know, when you do frame by frame, I think there is something less digital. Even if you are fully digital, you are, you know. And so, but things are very different, and we always need to consider the purpose of what you're doing. And we all the projects we had, we try to deconstruct stuff. So we do a lot of 3D, but we don't go Pixar, you know. We try to do frame by frame, but we also don't go Disney. And so it's so, but in terms of choices, it depends, because frame by frame animation in big projects can become very, very expensive. After Effects can have some limitations, but nowadays there are a lot of plugins that do amazing stuff, and so I don't know what you're asking specifically, but from choice you can even blend them. You know, the first film I showed, we even did the beetle in 3D, and then we blend that on After Effects. I find that After Effects, in the end, independently of the technique you use, is something that is very useful to assemble stuff and do the compositing of the works. But I'm not technical guy working, and so I'm always afraid of saying wrong things.
Okay. So if there is nothing you want to add, say thank you for coming and for being with us. For us was very nice to have you here. We love your country. We really want to have like Portuguese designers and creative people like to be more present in the European scene. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, well, I'm very thankful, and I think I told you that we are very much. We love Italian industry, and also I forget to mention, for instance, we work closely mainly on music with Antimatter, I don't know if you know them. They are also great guys. So I already spoke about two Italian
yes.
creative people that we really enjoy, and but not only those, we follow a lot of people, and I feel that looking to Europe, because we tend to work internationally, and I think that I believe that in Porto and in Lisbon there are creative hubs producing a lot of interesting stuff.
Absolutely.
But also, yeah, if you look around there are big countries where we don't follow anyone, you know. It's like, and Italy, it's not certainly the case. Everyone has a really good taste for things, and yeah, just get in touch with us. Of course, I'm very thankful for these opportunities to let you know us, and also to open the door to get in contact. We love to team up with people, and we are very interested in of course, COVID is the main issue now, and I would say that we would be very pleased to have you in Porto or in Lisbon when it's possible. Just tell us.
Perfect. Okay, we'll come for sure, because we love your country.
Thank you very much.
So thank you everybody for coming tonight, and if you have the ticket for tomorrow, we see you tomorrow night for the graphic design night. Thank you and bye-bye.
Thank
Ciao.
you.
Ciao.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Ciao.